Inflation, it's the invisible thief robbing your wallet right now. And you think you're safe? Think again. Even if you're pulling in six figures, you are feeling the squeeze. In the next 10 minutes, I'm going to show you exactly why your money's disappearing faster than ever and what to do about it. This isn't just another finance video that you see across YouTube. It is a wake-up call. Let's begin. You came here for the truth, so let me unveil that for you. In today's video, we are going to look at what's been happening and really start to break down on what it means for you. We got this election coming here. Everybody's stressing out about it because, oh, if this guy gets in or if that guy gets in, what's going to happen to me? Well, I'm here to tell you that it doesn't matter who comes in or who doesn't. You have to be in the right position so that you can take advantage of this circumstance that's going on right now. You're seeing this. McDonald's $5 value meal intensifies a fast food price war. What does this mean? It means that what used to be, $5, you can get some food, no problem. Now we have to struggle to make ends meet. And a lot of this is something people didn't have to deal with just a few years ago. You got that. At the same time, Wall Street. Well, Nvidia's going up. Certain stocks are rising very high, but not everybody is feeling the benefit of what's happening on Wall Street, and not all companies. In fact, we have some like Nike. Now, why would Nike be falling? Everyone's got this disposable income. Everyone's got so much cash, right? Not exactly. Nike falls most since 2001 on weaker full year outlook. It's Nike. You go down the street, you see everybody wearing Nike shoes. You look at their products, they're, endorsing all kinds of athletes. I mean, they're doing well, right? Well, apparently not. And they're not the only one. Look, it's not just apparel companies. General Mills stock falls after revenue miss and soft guidance. Profit beat is offset in a more challenging operating environment. And I'm pulling up, this is the actual General Mills website, and you could see that quote, more challenging operating environment, okay? Coming directly from the CEO. And so you know that this is affecting everybody at all levels. We're not just seeing this with one company in one industry, one sector. No. This is widespread. And people just don't have the cash that they did before. Even high-income earners worried about making ends meet. And this goes, I've shown you the stats before. Yes, we've seen it. Doesn't matter if you're making 100,000, if you're making 150,000. In this case here, high income being 150,000. That depends on where you live. But you could see the same thing. They're cutting spending. We don't need to go this place. We don't need to go on that vacation. These things are happening right now today for so many people, right? And like I said, just because that guy down the street appears to be okay, oh, he's got the nice car, he's seemingly living large, but a lot of that is based on what happened before, not so much anymore. Why your Starbucks Frappuccino is now half price. Coffee chain known for their premium brews is pumping out more deals to woo price sensitive customers. And this is the thing that they're all having to do right now. These might be, in a position where they're a loss leader, or maybe their profit margins are super slim. You got to think about it. Yeah, Starbucks making good money charging whatever it is, $7 for something that doesn't cost very much. You got to understand that when you include all of the other overhead that they have, the employees, that minimum wage keeps rising, when you have electricity and energy bills, a lot of small businesses during 2020, when the gas prices were rising, people's, they were operating their ovens, they were operating their stoves, they literally couldn't pay the bills. So they said it was actually better for us to just stay closed. And that's heartbreaking, right, for a lot of small businesses. And I'm sure to some degree that affects the big businesses as well, right? Trust me, I'm not shedding a tear for Starbucks. I'm not really a fan, but just trying to explain that what's happening. Like, what's going on? Why is this happening? We're going to get to that. We will get to that. This is talking about Dollar Tree. Now, this is a quote, okay, from the CEO this year. Across 3,000 stores, we expect to expand our multi-price assortment by over 300 items. Okay, so they're getting more stuff. at price points ranging from $1.50, so the dollar is gone, it's no longer Dollar Tree, it's $1.50 tree, up to $7. Now that $7 item, it's, not the thing that used to be, let's say, 99 cents. I'm sure they're getting a lot more intricate things, more expensive things, cost more to manufacture. $7 though? Okay, we are in a very different world. Dollar Tree weighs sale of struggling Family Dollar discount stores. They are getting rid of a lot of these places, apparently hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of these stores. They're not performing. Why? Because you've got the lowest of the low end of pricing. It's hard to compete. It's hard to keep the lights on. All right. And that brings me to this. What is this all about? Well, it's all about Jerome Powell. It's all about all of these central banks. And I want to talk about that for a second. You have seen a devaluation of the currency. And sure, we can sit here and we can complain and we can try to make change at the highest of the high level. We can phone our member of Congress, member of Parliament, and we could try to make change on that level. That could work. Could work. It doesn't seem to work because as the years go on, look at, in the case of the Federal Reserve, since 1913, we have seen a consistent destruction of the value of your currency, right? And what has happened? Let's be very clear. Anybody who bought a house 10 years ago, when we look at price to income ratio, they're better off than the people today. What about those who bought their house 30 years ago? They're off than people today and the people 10 years ago. And so on and so, like, as time moves on, it's getting worse and worse and worse. So the average person, the young people, I feel for the young people, the really young people that are, they're in university, college, maybe they're still in school to some degree, and they're on, like, within the next few years, they'll be on the way out or they're just out now. How are they ever going to afford a home? In fact, in many cities, how can they ever afford rent? I was just talking to somebody today as I record this video, and the guy works just a regular job, probably making minimum wage plus tips, and he was telling me that I think maybe it's best not to be here, not to be in an expensive city, because I literally can't make ends meet. And his situation is not unique. His situation is one of many. And like I said, it's not just about those who are making minimum wage. It's about everybody, because what happens? As soon as you get a little bit more, well, you tend to spend a little bit more. That's usually what people do. And they think everything's okay until the cost of that borrowing, the ownership, as we call it, just becomes too expensive, too much of a burden. That's what's going on. It's the devaluation. So stick with me. Look at what happens when you do that over a long period of time. This is the Japanese currency that has continued to weaken. We haven't seen these levels since the insanity back in the 80s for Japan. And this is a big deal because it is constantly regarded as, oh, Japan is so successful at printing money. No, they're not. And now the currency is being consistently devalued. Look, it's at 160 as I record this video, or at least when the chart was produced. And it wasn't long ago where it was at 100. So as this goes on, the people feel the burden. And why? Because they refused to just admit the problem, pull that Band-Aid, and let it ride. Okay. Now you can look around the world, and some places are worse than others. Some places are doing well. You could see in the case of Singapore, their residential property index. I wanted to show you something. There are places in the world where you get these extremes. It's suddenly this city, during 2020, it was very popular, where some of these cities that should never have gotten these skyrocketing, prices, that happened. And then, of course, we can have the reverse. We don't want that. We want a slow and steady rise. We want the money to just flow in, not like during the 90s and Asian crisis where this hot money was flooding in, destroys Thailand, right? You don't want that. You want a nice, slow and steady gain all the time. If there's a little setback, it's kind of just like goes sideways and then it continues upward. That's healthy, but we don't usually get that. Okay, we get asset bubbles. The biggest asset bubbles in history, you could see that, and that's what's going on today. They are blowing bubbles bigger and bigger, and you are the victim in this scenario. They devalue the currency. Guess who wins? It's the richest of the rich. It's those who own the printing press and those who are connected. They are the shareholders of the central bank. Okay, so of course there are things that you can do. There are actions that you can take. And I want you to know that you better get your stuff in order or you're going to be steamrolled. You got to understand that this history proves what I'm suggesting to you today. They are devaluing the currency. Yeah, we can fight for that $5 McDonald's sandwich, okay? If you must. But what's happening here is like a very... Take it for what it is, okay? This is not subjective. This is happening. And if you don't get your stuff together, you're going to be in big trouble. Actions that you can take. Number one, become more self-sufficient. Or the second pillar, as I say, the pillars of prosperity is get more income. How can you get more income? These are basic things. I've talked about it more 1,000 times before. You got to upskill. How can you upskill? There are many resources. You got Class Central, which is one on Amazon's own website. You can look it up. I've shown it before on the channel. Machine learning. They have their own machine learning course that you can take right through Amazon directly. If that's something you're interested, robotics, automation, all that stuff, you could start your own business. That's what I think you should do, at least most people, in some capacity. Maybe like you're a handy person, you could start a handyman business. You could start a grass cutting. You could do landscaping. You could do tiles. You could do anything. Whatever it is, make it happen, okay? What I teach people directly is on the Finance Friday, I explain to people how to take advantage of the things that are happening in the financial world, in the economy. On Sunday, we talk about building an online business from the ground. This is unlike anything. Okay, nobody teaches the way I teach it, and I get people from the ground, and as a group, we help each other out. Okay, it's a small group over Zoom. If you're interested in that, you got to be interested in, of course, the online business. That's what it's all about. And that's what I teach. If you are like, hey, I can't afford anything, no worries. Go to my YouTube channel, scroll down. There's a lot of playlists with lots of free stuff in there in the playlists. I purposely put those playlists together, lots of free stuff. Okay, so take advantage of that. Don't just go into the next YouTube video. No, go into the playlists or go to the link at the top of this description, themoneygps.com/live, and you get on there and get connected with me, get in the group, and I wish you well. Don't let this steamroll you. You got to get out in front of it. Okay, this is very important. I'll see you next week. Take care.